Hello, thank you for taking my class all about the recorder. I'm Todd, and I'm going to be teaching you about the recorder, but also I'm going to be learning the recorder because I have not played a recorder in a long time. I learned it probably in third and fourth grade, or third or fourth grade, at some point in my elementary schooling in Monroe County. It was required all students learn the recorder as part of music class. So I did play back in the day when I was a kid, but it's been a long time. So I'm going to be learning along with you. So I'm not an expert or anything, but I'm kind of excited about getting back into it. So today I'm going to do a little bit, or in this video, I'm going to record some others I think too, but in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the basics, some basic information about the recorder. There's also a packet that you've gotten that should have been in your kit, or you picked up, or maybe you were emailed. So check that out. And I'll get to it. So this is a recorder. Yours probably looks pretty similar. If you picked one up from Harmony, it might be a different color, or if you have your own, it probably is a different color as well. But it should be the basic, same sort of thing. It's a long pipe, essentially. There's holes on the top and one little hole, or one, not little I guess, but one hole on the bottom. You blow into this end that's got that kind of angle, and your breath goes through and it passes over this whistle part, and that's what makes the sound. So if you haven't, and I suspect that you already have, but I want you to spend a little bit of time just kind of messing around with it. Blowing into it makes a loud noise. If you blow harder, makes a really awful noise that probably drives everybody in your house or neighborhood crazy. I know my neighbors, they're over there far, but they can hear it. Even so don't do that very much. Try not to annoy people around you, though I do want you to mess around and just kind of get a feel for it. To play the instrument, you're going to have to be in control. You're going to have to learn to control your breath, and you just have to blow a little bit. If you blow really hard, it just makes that awful noise. So do that. You might have also noticed that it comes apart. You can do that if you need to clean with if it gets really wet inside from your steamy breath, you can use a cloth and shove it down there with like a long pole or something. Like mine's got some gunk in there, so I would probably take mine apart. You can also just use these in soap and water, like you would wash the dishes. They're just plastic, and so it comes apart into these three pieces. You can play this without anything on it, because that's where the whistle is. So you can kind of get an idea of how the long tube with the holes changes the sound or the note of the instrument. It's pretty fun. But as you put this together, and you'll, spend some time messing around and figuring it out. Anyway, you'll figure it all out. So take some time and just kind of mess around with it. See if you can make any of the notes change. You've noticed, I don't know if I did yet, but covering these with your fingers is kind of how that works to change the notes. So you might mess around with that. But before we learn any notes or anything, I just want you to spend a little bit of time playing, I guess, with the instrument, trying to make some noise, driving everybody in your house crazy. But do that now. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and practice the next song that we're going to learn, or the first song, I guess, that we're going to learn, which involves 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. So get ready for that. But this is going to be, I'm going to stop the video so that I can put it together later, and that'll be that. All right. Hope you had fun playing with your recorder, and that nobody drove anybody at their house too crazy. A couple fun facts about the recorder that I wanted to share. It's a woodwind instrument, and it has a whistle mouthpiece. So I think most woodwinds have like a reed, like a saxophone that's made of wood that vibrates, but this is just a whistle. So that's what that's all about. But it's made by blowing the wind, so that's why it's called a woodwind. It dates back to the Middle Ages, which is like 1,500 years ago. So it's a very old instrument in different forms. Initially, or the first recorders were made out of bone or ivory or wood, but now most of them are made with plastic. But you can still buy wooden or bone ones, I'm sure. but they cost a lot more. So you can get these really inexpensively, like $6 or $7. A lot of you don't know this, but our own Adam from the K6 class famously won the Indiana State Championship recorder competition with his stirring rendition of Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You, which is in 1992. So you might check in with Adam and ask him all about that, and maybe you could even get him to perform on the recorder for you. It's popular as an instrument to use in schools because it's relatively easy to produce sound on and learn the basics. A lot of instruments are kind of tricky to get started, and to learn the basics, it's hard to make the sound and hard to make it sound good. But this one, like if you can blow, you can make a note, and that's pretty cool. So it's a very simple instrument. It's relatively easy to learn the basics. That being said, mastering the instrument and getting to a place where you're sort of an accomplished recorder player takes a lot of time and dedication and certainly a lot of practice. But it's a great way to get started and to learn some of the basics. So I'm going to insert a video now of a virtuoso recorder player, just to get you an idea of what's possible, that we won't be going anywhere near that level in this class. But we're just gonna learn some basic notes and some basic songs, and just spend a little time having fun and using the recorder to get to know some music and have some fun and learn a new instrument. So I'm gonna show you that video now of a really amazing recorder player. All right, I'm going to try to do this here, but our first note that we're going to learn is going to be the B. So you can all say B, right? B. I've drawn this picture of the B note. So that is the letter B. This is the musical scale. I didn't draw the treble clef symbol because I didn't want to, but it's a treble clef. It's in the treble clef instrument or family or notes, or what do you say there, musicians? I don't know. Scale, treble clef. It's the higher one of the two. There's treble and bass clef. I think that's all. I'm not a classically trained musician, but the B. It's the line right in the middle, and I've drawn I believe that's a whole note. I believe, man, I don't really read music that well either. Yeah, but I think that's a whole note for 4 beats, I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Or no, I colored it in, so I think that's a half note? I don't know. You help me out. But anyway, B is right in the middle on the line. So, and then to play that on the recorder, this notation, or this sort of picture of what the B note looks like, you can put the recorder next to it, and the pamphlet that you have, or the booklet, also has this sort of notation. So I'm going to try to keep that consistent. But it's up like this. You can see they've divided in the picture. There's sort of 3 notes that are together. On the recorder, you can't really tell. They're not spaced like that, but that just means that those are notes that you're going to play with your left hand. So you're going to hold the instrument in your left hand. You'll use your right hand as well, but we're not going to get to that in this video. So I'm holding it in my left hand. It looks like this. The note that's off to the side, or the little hole that's off to the side, that means that's the one that's on the bottom. So the ones on the top are inside this box, and the one off to the side is on the bottom. So, and if it's colored in, that means you're going to cover it. So, all that being said, for the B note, the bottom is going to be covered with your thumb. So your thumb goes over the bottom, and on the top, your little pointer finger, or your first finger, whatever you call it. So it's those two notes. You can kind of use it to even record or hold the recorder. Then you're just going to blow, not too hard. That's the B note. All right? So practice that a few times. If you need to pause the video, you can. And then you can resume when you're ready. So I'll pretend that you're paused.
Daddy, I got my whip.
Oh, wow. That is super cool. You want to show everybody on here? I'm recording a video for my exploration class. You want to show them? Oh, yeah. That's the thing that he made. That's amazing. Just be careful. No, don't whack me. Yikes. All right. So that's the B. So play the B. You can play like that. One thing that I'm doing to stop the note is you put your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, and that stops the airflow. So you might try that. And now we're going to learn the next note so that we can play a song. The song we're going to learn is Hot Cross Buns. If you've heard that song, it's one of my all-time favorites on the recorder. All right, so the B is the first note. And then look, I'm going to unfold the paper to reveal the second note, which is going to be the A, which is it's between the lines, or in the spaces between the middle line and the line below it. So it's just going to move one step down from the B. And then in the picture you can tell that we're going to be adding a finger. So you can leave the bottom covered and leave your pointer finger on the hole that's there. And then your next finger, your middle finger, can go over the next hole. And that creates the A note. So I'm going to go ahead and play A. You can hear that it sounds a little bit lower. It's just a step lower than the B. I'm going to go B and then A, and you'll hear the difference. See? So it's lower. All right? And the next note, I bet if you've noticed the pattern here, we've got one finger covered and then two finger covered. The next one's going to be three fingers covered. And that's the G. So look, it spells bag. So I guess you can remember that. B-A-G. And the G is going to be just one step lower. You see it's on the line just below the A. So the G is lower than the A is. So I'm going to play a G, so three fingers covered, and make sure as you cover those, like you've got to cover the whole way. If it's only like partly covered, you won't get a good seal. So you got to make sure that the hole is all the way covered and that no air can come out. All right, I'm going to put that down. Usually you'd hold it with your right hand as well, which we'll get to, but right now we're not using any notes with our right hand, so we don't need to cover any of those. So that's the lowest one yet, the G. And again, this is in your paperwork that you've got. Hey, buddy, what's up?
So I'm using every Zoom piece.
Okay, I'll come and help out in just a second. I gotta go manage some Zoom pieces, or Zoob building pieces. But I got B-A-G. So I'm gonna play all of those in succession. Which, if you recognize that as you listened, are the first three notes in Hot Cross Buns, which is what I'm going to teach you now. You'll have the music in your thing, so you can look there. But I've got that one from memory, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. So, we're going to go B-A-G, or I'll just play it through. That's how it goes. So thank you. play that again, and we could even try to play it together, the song Hot Cross Buns, and then that'll be the end of this lesson. And then you've got that song that you can practice and work on and just get really familiar with those 3 notes and kind of the breathing and not giving too much air, blowing too hard. One more time. We're going to take a bow, wave to your screaming audience of fans, and then keep practicing, and then we'll see you with the next video. Thanks.